Hello and welcome to IGN Anime Club, episode 62. Yay, anime!
Yay, anime!
I'm Callie Plaguey, filling in for Miranda Sanchez, and I'm joined by Megan Sullivan.
Konnichiwa.
And Mike Mamone.
Hey, what's up?
This is our show where we talk about anime. Conversational show where we talk about some anime.
We talk about all of the animes.
all of them. Every single one. Not really.
It's a 10-hour episode.
Before we begin, we got an email. You can email us at IGN_Anime Club@IGN.com. I won't mention this person by name, but it was about Psycho-Pass and the graphic content in Psycho-Pass, which is our watch party show this time around. We're only on episodes 3 and 4 now. But we wanted to apologize as a group for not doing a better job of doing a content warning for that show because it is extremely graphic. And that first kind of set of episodes was could be very damaging and hard to get through, and we really want to do a better job of doing that in the future, of giving proper warnings for mature and graphic content, just so you know what you're getting into before we recommend something. So with that being said, we hope you're okay, and for anybody who is struggling with Psycho-Pass, you absolutely do not have to participate in the watch party. You are totally welcome to opt out, and we understand that. But yeah. So
Totally.
Thank you so much for writing in and pointing it out to us. But
Yeah.
all right, I feel really bad, but
No,
everything will be okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
your feedback, we really appreciate it. And we look at that, the Facebook group and the emails, we read all that. So thank you for sending those to us.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
Yes.
Let's just talk about what we're watching. Some more lighthearted shows, I think.
Yes.
Megan, what about you?
So I just caught up with more Amanchu, which is my ultimate anime and chill. It's so wonderful. It just makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Nothing bad happens there. It's all just about friendship and diving lessons, and it's so cute and adorable. If you haven't seen it yet, it's on Crunchyroll. Go out and watch it. Also, complete 180 off a cliff. Berserk's really really getting going now. They're kind of starting to tie all the story threads together. They're now all at the Tower of Conviction, and it's all about to hit the fan. So that is definitely a very mature, graphic show. Be very careful when you watch that show if you're not already familiar with Berserk. If you are familiar with Berserk, then you know we're about to have some serious stuff go down. Tower of Conviction, getting exciting. So can't wait for episode 10. If you haven't seen my review of episode 9, please check that out on IGN.com. It's a website you may have heard of.
What?
Anyway, that's what I've been watching.
Wow. That was like probably the fastest what we're watching for one person ever. I would like to applaud you for that, because normally we're just like, and I love this show so much, and it goes on for a while.
Well, it's hard to talk because we don't want to talk about spoilers. So,
Right.
Yeah.
It can be hard. So speaking of spoilers, Mike, are you caught up with ReZero?
Oh yeah.
I'm not caught up, but I'm getting super into it.
Okay, nice. Yeah. No, it was funny. After the show went live on Sunday on Crunchyroll, and then Miranda messaged me. It's like, did you watch today's episode? I'm like, yeah. Oh my god. And then so like on my email, because my email is connected to my Twitter, I just have like just 30 direct messages. Like oh, Miranda sent you this. Miranda sent so yes, catch up so we can do that.
So ReZero is one that we've been raving about for a while, especially Mike and Miranda. I'm just now catching up with it. If you haven't been watching it, it's how would you summarize it? It's basically a guy gets transported into a fantasy world, but it's done in sort of a different way. It sounds kind of cliched, but it's done differently. So we would highly recommend that if you have not heard us talk about it before, which I really wouldn't understand if you haven't, if you've just joined the show. If you're just now joining the show. Check that out and tweet at Mike and Miranda only, because I'm not caught up. Wait until I tell you I'm caught up, and then you can talk to me about it all you want. What else, Mike?
I'm also caught up with JoJo. The reason why I want to bring it up this time is just because I think last time I talked about it, I said it was building up to a certain climax, and it's there.
Ooh.
Pretty much. And like crap hit the fan, and if you're watching with me, let's talk about it, because no one talks about it with except for my buddy. He just saw the episode a couple of days after me, and then he sent me a text with anyway. But yeah, it's getting good, and there's a few of you out there that have reminded me that there's actually 39 or 40 episodes for this part of the series. So yeah, thank you for that, because I mentioned it was like I thought it was gonna end like at 24, and like I don't know what they're gonna do after that. But JoJo's different.
JoJo's in a realm of its own.
Yeah, they pretty much can do whatever they want.
It exists outside of normal rules.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm excited to see what happens. There's gonna be a lot more. I think we're halfway through the 39 episodes that they promised. So I can't wait to see what happens next.
Right.
Cool.
And then also, months ago, I don't remember when, but I told you guys that I was going to binge watch Eureka 7.
Did you do it?
And I mean, I
Did
didn't.
you succeed?
It wasn't really a binge because but I did finish it. I finished it finally.
Good job.
Congrats.
Yes.
Golf clap.
Yeah, it was funny because Eureka 7 was available on Netflix at the time, and then it got taken off.
Oh.
And I was like, uh-oh.
All right. So for people who don't know, what is it about?
Eureka 7. So it is about a boy, Renton. He lives a boring life with his grandpa, and he loves to lift, which is like surfing but in the air.
So not like lifting weight.
He's
not getting
it's
swole.
like the sport of lifting, where they use like reef boards. I don't know how to pronounce it. But yeah, you're surfing in air, like surfboards in air.
Oh,
So kind of like hoverboards.
Sort of, but you're using like the energy in the air.
is it like that thing? That thing
It's
where
not a
you
sports anime, by the way.
you get? Is it a sports anime?
No, it's not.
Oh, well, is it that thing where you oh my god, why am I blanking on the name? Where you go up behind a speedboat and you are flying. Parasailing. Is it like parasailing?
No, yeah. It's really weird.
Anyway, so
Yeah.
you finished it. Did you like it?
Would
you recommend it?
I liked it. It's a bit slow for me.
Okay.
Because essentially it's a love story, which I did not expect.
Between a boy and his board.
Oh no, there's a girl. Her name is Eureka 7.
Oh.
But it's a love story and a mech anime.
Wait, what? They're mechs in it too?
There are mechs in it too. Yes.
Okay, now it's getting interesting.
But it's the emphasis is the relationship between the two.
Okay.
So yeah, he lives his boring life, and then he likes lifting. It's weird saying it, but and then a mech just crashes into their like house or their
As one does.
Yeah, and then he joins this renegade group called Gecko State, which is where his idol. Anyway, so like he gets thrust into this world of like mechs and like there's a government stuff going on there, and then the mysterious girl that he meets who he falls in love with. So it's just a lot of him trying to kind of make a name for himself, right? He doesn't know what to do. And he's trying to just go out there and kind of have his own adventure, but it turns into something else.
Okay. Anyway, you liked it.
So yeah,
You
Eureka
liked
7.
It. All right.
Definitely like it. Check it out right now. It's on Funimation. Thank goodness, because I wouldn't have finished it.
Otherwise,
yeah.
Support the industry. Woo.
Woo.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm gonna try to figure out what's my next show that I'll. I don't know if I can binge watch anymore, but
You were probably the king of binge watching. It's
pretty impressive.
yeah, well, yeah. But yeah, I'll definitely pick up another show that I'll just watch just like that. So we'll see what that is.
All right, cool.
Yeah, how's it
Kylie,
going?
what are you watching?
I have been in a mood, so I've been getting just reigniting DBZ into my life.
Nice.
You can't go wrong with that.
If you're watching the video, which you can watch on a variety of apps, including the Xbox One app and the PS4 app,
Yep.
we have this nice Bulma figure, and if you
Yes.
turn her around, she is a little cheeky. I don't know if you can see that from here.
She a lot cheeky.
But so the reason I'm getting into it is because I want to do a Bulma cosplay, and I'm not sure which version I want to cosplay.
Oh.
So I'm just kind of like, I'll just watch and get inspired because I like short hair, like business Bulma, but I also like bunny Bulma, and so I just don't know what to do. I don't know.
I really like Bunny Bulma. I'm part of the problem.
Love bunny Bulma, and I might do a bunny Bulma cosplay.
If you do Bunny Bulma, I'll do lunch.
Okay.
I'll be her.
I have a friend
Nice.
who has an Android 18 cosplay, and I was just like, "You're so inspirational." so yeah, I've been because my knowledge of DBZ is actually really scattered because I was like pretty young, and it was one of those things where like my cousins watched it, and I was the only girl in the family, so I was like, I don't know. Like, I was like watching Pokemon and Sailor Moon and stuff around the same time, and I didn't know if I was like allowed to watch Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
It's it's a weird thing that, like, in the mind of however old I was. So.
Not only that, but I talked to Max a couple weeks ago when we were at that party, and was talking about how it's surprising that Dragon Ball Z took off the way it did, because a lot of people weren't familiar with the original Dragon Ball, which is why I'm reading the manga now, because I'm like, I want context for some of these characters, but I guess all that Super Saiyan action.
Just action.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Good stuff.
It's like a lot of it's probably Bulma, because she's my wife. She's my new wife.
She's your waifu. She's
Also
your anime
those
waifu.
muscles.
She's my new waifu. I mean, like, I have another very good figure up there of Erina-sama. But, you know. So anyway, that's kind of, I'm on the precipice of that. So look forward to, like, Dragon Ball tweets in the near future, probably. And then I also want to mention, on behalf of Miranda, Steven Universe had an episode this week that a Trigger animator helped animate.
Wow.
So that's just really interesting. It's a cool collaboration. We've talked last week about, not quite anime and stuff like that. You can check out that episode if you missed it, episode 61. But it's just really cool seeing the East-West collaboration there with a Trigger animator. And of course, we all know how much some of us here love Trigger.
Yes. Some of us.
So just on behalf of her, she'll be back next week, by the way. I mean, most likely. So unless the office is on fire, or because that's the most likely thing.
And then we'll still record, because we're that dedicated.
We're so dedicated.
We're so dedicated.
All right, so just moving right along. The next thing is, this week we're doing another creator spotlight.
Hey!
So previously we did whatchamacallit, Gainax, and now we are doing A-1 Pictures.
Yes.
Which was founded in May 2005. So the notable thing about A-1 is that it's, a lot of studios are defined by their creators. A-1 is more defined by the variety in its adaptations, and it does have some original works as well. But it adapted a lot of things you're probably familiar with.
Yes.
The one notable director is Tomohiko Ito, who did Sword Art Online, Erased, Occult Academy, and Silver Spoon. So you might be familiar with some of those, especially Erased, because we talked about that a bunch. And obviously Sword Art, but
Yeah.
Right.
And it's a subsidiary of Aniplex, which is Sony's anime production firm.
Yes.
So that's basically the rundown on A-1. Let's talk about some things that A-1 did. So their first big adaptation, their first anime was Zenmai Zamurai, which is a kid's short on NHK Educational TV. And then they went on to do a lot of different things. So their first actual adaptation was Big Windup in 2007. It's based on a baseball manga.
Which I have not seen, which I should watch.
I know. I'm like looking at Mike like.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
you got some homework, Mike.
Yeah, I know. I've heard of it. Ace of Diamonds, the one that comes to mind when it comes to baseball anime.
Right.
But Big Wind, I'm just looking, like, it's only 26 episodes from what I've seen. And yeah, I need to check that out, because A-1 does some great work.
Yeah. So I personally haven't seen it, but Black Butler in 2009.
Sounds familiar.
Is A-1.
Yeah.
Very big one. I have some friends who are super, super into Black Butler. And so that's like a big name one that I actually didn't expect to be A-1 at all.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you may have heard of it. Megan, will you do the honors? Fairy Tail!
I love that
Fairy
show.
Tail.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, that's a big shift in things. Black Butler and Fairy Tail are very different.
Yes.
And then the next one on the list is Working, which is extremely different.
Exclamation point.
Working is really funny. You should check it out. It's kind of like anime The Office, but different. That's my elevator pitch.
I love that.
If someone was like, Callie, what's Working? I'd be like, anime The Office is the simplest way I can put it, but that's it. So definitely check out Working. Again, so different than the previous stuff. And then Blue Exorcist, the Idolmaster. If you're not a Love Live person, you might be an Idolmaster person.
That's true.
Yeah. So go
Question:
A1.
Can you be both, or do you have to be one or the other?
I mean, in my opinion, every anime girl is worth loving. So you can be both, and you can have they can all be your best girl.
I like that.
If it were up to me, every anime girl is pure and wonderful and should be protected, unless she's a tsundere, in which case she should be your waifu. That's just my personal mantra.
So watch both.
And making another left turn into Sword Art Online.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that's in 2012. So the previous ones were obviously before that. So in 2012 they do Sword Art. Obviously, huge deal.
Yes.
Give
Give it up for Sword Art Online, everybody. There's like applause.
There's
going on.
applause outside. We record on Tuesdays, and something is going on. I have no idea what it is. I don't think it's anyone's birthday who works here. Anyway,
no, I don't
Not
think
anyway.
so.
sometimes, just quick aside. Sometimes at IGN, someone will start applause for no reason, and everyone
we
will
just all
cheer.
clap.
Yeah, and. So that's what happened.
Yeah.
You might not have even heard it. Anyway,
yeah.
That's it. That's our office.
anyway, Magi, the Labyrinth of Magic. Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Magi?
Yeah,
Magi?
Magi.
I mean,
Magi?
in English you would say Magi.
Magi.
Yes.
But I don't know if there's a difference.
In the anime, they pronounce it in Magi.
And that makes sense
is like,
because
yeah,
that's how
just-
it's spelled
that's just how- yeah.
in Romaji. And then Space Brothers. I actually don't know anything about Space Brothers.
Me neither.
There's
In
that
2012.
meme though from Space Brothers I see all the time. I
really?
always want to watch the show just so I can understand the context of that. So yeah, but that's also a popular one.
Oreimo.
Oreimo?
2013. That's what I've heard of, but I also have not seen.
Yeah.
But so just quick pause. We're only like halfway through. We're not even halfway through this list because that's how many. I just want to point out A1 does so much, and we found out they have over 150 50 employees as of October 2014. But they are doing a huge volume.
They're super
yeah.
eclectic. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm looking at this and it's like, you have Your Lie in April, Black Butler, Fairy Tale, Erased.
Sword Art Online 2, Seven Deadly Sins.
Persona 4, the golden
Yeah,
animation.
So
Brotherhood, Final Fantasy 15.
Persona 4. I brought in Andrew Goldfarb's Teddy.
Yes, yes, he's adorable.
Just
Love
as
Teddy.
a shout out to Andrew for being the Persona super fan.
He has his desk is a literal shrine to
Yeah.
Persona.
I think he might be the biggest fan in this whole world.
Yeah.
So they did Persona 4, Saekano, How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend. These are all ones I've heard of, except for I haven't heard of. Space Brothers wasn't on my radar for some reason. Gate, the one that I think we all dropped.
Yeah.
But if you liked that, then
But people
more
did
power
like
to
it.
you.
People said that
People
after
liked it.
episode
yeah.
4 or 5, it really gets
I didn't keep
going.
up with it, but I liked what I saw.
We
so.
happened to all drop it. But if
Yeah.
you liked it, that is not a reflection on you. That is just we don't have a lot of time. Asterisk War, Brotherhood, Final Fantasy 15, Erased, which we mentioned already.
Oh, yeah.
Grimgar, Fantasy and Ash, which was so pretty. I didn't get very far into that anime because it was really slow for me. But it was
I did.
so gorgeous. It was like a
I finished it.
watercolor
it.
painting.
Yeah, it is. It's a watercolor painting, and it's
Wow.
it's a very slow burn, but it's very mature. I noticed a through line with some of these coming of age stories, like with Grimgar and Erased. I mean, what I love about A1 is they have huge properties like Fairy Tale, but then they put that money back into more risky anime that aren't necessarily going to sell action figures and toys and games.
Yeah.
Things like Erased, Grimgar. These are not things you're like, oh, I'm going to collect all these super cute girls and put them on my desk.
Totally.
It's a lot more mature. It's a lot more thoughtful. So I give kudos to A1 for
yeah.
taking risks
Absolutely.
with a lot of these anime.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then the last is Ace Attorney, as far as adaptations go. And yeah, just to bounce off of Megan, I really want to emphasize how broad the spectrum is, and that's why we're spotlighting A1 is that's kind of the trademark of their studio is they can go from Sword Art to Your Lie in April, and like Megan pointed out, if you take the money from a really successful thing like Sword Art, that one that'll sell figures, and put it into something like Erased, which absolutely won't sell figures unless you want Kaio because you want to protect her. She's so cute. I mean, but that's I feel like we're a small minority, all of us who love Kaio. Yeah, you put that success into something that is not that Sword Art is not artistic in any way or anything like that. I mean, that was on Miranda's anime to watch if you love games list, the first arc specifically.
Yes.
So not to knock something like Sword Art or Fairy Tale, but put it into something that isn't as commercially appropriate, not as commercially minded, more about the story or something like that. Or a Grimgar, which was just so visually beautiful,
Yeah.
but not something that's going to sell figures. All right, moving on from that exhaustive list.
I did a lot.
Well, let us know.
was a lot.
Actually, before we move on, let us know which one of those is your favorite. And if one of the ones that we have not seen on here that we mentioned we haven't seen, which one should we watch? Which one would you recommend? Please let us know in the comments or on Twitter. You can tweet at us at #IGNanime, IGNIME. Yep. And again, you can email at IGN_Anime Club@IGN.com.
So wait, before we move on, what is everyone's favorite A1 series? If you could only pick one, I'm gonna put you on the spot here. Because there's some really good ones on here.
That's really hard.
That's
I know.
really
There's
hard.
evil.
So I don't know if I could pick one because there's so many different ones. Like Working and Erased are not
Okay,
it's apples and oranges.
top 3 then.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot, so it should be easy to pick a top 3.
Honestly, I feel like I need to watch more of them before I can adequately
Yeah.
pick. You know what I mean?
I mean, I can tell you which ones I have watched and loved.
Yeah.
But anyway, but I like Fairy Tail's great. Sword Art Online's awesome. Seven
Your
Deadly
Lie in
Sins.
April.
Seven Deadly Sins I
Lie in
surprisingly
April,
enjoyed, which is a good one.
I loved Erased, except the ending was a little bit of a disappointment for me.
Sure.
But I really
But that
loved
ride
that
was
show.
great.
Yeah, that was a good ride.
That was a really good ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I enjoy Maggie as well.
Yeah.
So
That's good.
yeah.
Watch Working.
I will. That and Big. Oh God. All right. I'll have to binge one of those.
Yeah. So, jumping off of adaptations, what
Yes.
do we want to see them adapt next? Because they are trusted with a lot of big manga series,
Yeah,
adapting them
I
into
know,
anime,
yeah.
right?
It's
So,
crazy.
if you could pick one, well, I'm going to start with Miranda's because she's not here. She wishes they could have gotten Orange, the adaptation for Orange.
They would have done a great job with that.
Yeah.
I'm fine with Orange.
I mean, I'm
is.
not caught up, but
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I like it. I don't.
yeah. I agree with this one, Professor Layton.
Yes.
I would
Oh.
love
Right?
a Professor Layton.
I mean, they're doing Ace Attorney. They might as well do Professor Layton.
Right?
Also, Ace Attorney's not that great, so they can redeem themselves if they got Professor Layton.
Oh, yeah, I heard that this adaptation is not the
Yeah.
best.
Also, just the Professor Layton games just have a very cinematic type of feel to them.
Yeah,
Even though
it
it's
lends itself easily to anime.
exactly. So
Yeah.
they can easily make that such a great anime. So hopefully,
They would be so
That'd
good.
be good. I know,
'cause
And
they
so
do-
cute.
they do a lot of game adaptations actually.
They do.
Yeah.
Persona and Ace
Persona.
Attorney to name, and Final Fantasy Brotherhood, actually.
Yes.
Brotherhood Final Fantasy. So,
So even more reason.
yeah. So Professor Layton is a great option. And then jumping off of that, Fire Emblem. There were 2
Yes.
OVAs in the 90s.
Yes.
But I just want to real talk for a second. A lot of people have a lot of husbandos and waifus from the new Fire Emblem games.
Yes,
And I think
yes, we do.
I think that would be a really good selling point for a Fire Emblem anime is who's your new wife?
Who's your waifu? Yeah. Who ends up being canon waifu?
The canon waifu.
The canon waifu.
It's my new band name.
But yeah, they have. I think I looked it up, and Anima Inc. Actually did the cutscenes because they do have beautiful cutscenes in the
In
Fire Emblem.
Fire Emblem.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, definitely easily can be adapted into another anime. So A1.
A1, get on it.
Yeah, I want to see more of Jacob and Kazu and all those husbandos of mine. You know you're a little obsessed when you have multiple saves. And it's
Oh.
not just because you have multiple difficulties.
It's because you
No.
have multiple
You're
husbandos.
not the only one.
Real talk.
I'm sure you're not the only one. Yeah.
I mean, sure, I have lunatic mode on the 1, but that was just my cover so that I had a separate save for separate husbando.
If you don't know, Megan reviewed 2 out of the 3 versions
Oh, yeah.
of
Yes, I
Fire Emblem
did.
Fates.
Yes,
my
they
God.
both got very high 9s. You can also check that out on this website called IGN.com.
So which ones did you review?
So I believe I reviewed
Fates?
Birthright and Revelations. What the heck
Yes.
was it called?
That sounds right. I think.
Sorry, my mind is blanking. Of course, it was
There's a lot.
Birthright, and it was. Yeah, I think it
You
was
reviewed
Revelations.
the third one.
Yes, I reviewed the
wasn't-
third one that has the true path.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, you can check those out. Jose reviewed Conquest.
Yes.
That's what it's called. Yeah. So yeah, if you want to check out those reviews, and if you have not, you can do so because those games would make a great anime. I think
I would be so exciting.
the most obvious adaptation next up for them would be Persona 5.
Yes.
Yes.
A1 is working on a tie-in special. Persona 5, the animation, The Daybreakers. The
Yeah.
air date is September 3rd,
Yes.
according to our notes. But
I tried to watch it, but it was blocked from in the U.S.
rip.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't air until.
No.
So, but yeah.
But come on.
I mean, yeah, they did Persona 3?
4.
4, sorry.
Yeah.
I think, I forget the other studio that did, there's other Persona series, not done by A-1, but, I mean, doesn't mean they can't do Persona 5 when that comes out.
Man, I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
Because the art is so sexy
yeah.
for Persona 5. They're going the Catherine route, which I love.
Oh my God, the Catherine
style,
art.
it would be such a, with the right budget, it'd be such a gorgeous anime.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to point out it's Persona 4 Golden, the animation.
Oh, yes.
But it's based on the
I think Lurke did Danganronpa and a different Persona one, if I'm not mistaken. I'll Google it later.
Got it.
Yeah. And then, so the last one on this list is Star Wars, since there is a manga. But I feel like maybe some more space-oriented studios could pick up a Star Wars.
Yeah.
Pick up a Star Wars or two.
Do you think the studio would be good at DC or Marvel type of stuff? Like if somehow Disney gave them
A1?
their blessing. Yeah. Do you think that would be a choice? I don't know.
I'm not
not
sure.
sure how I feel about that. But I was thinking about it earlier today. I was like, would I trust A1 to do a Marvel or DC type anime?
Okay, I looked it up. Quickly. Lurke did Persona 4 the animation. A1 did Persona 4 Golden the
Golden,
animation.
yes.
Okay. Good
Just
distinction.
for clarification,
Yeah.
because it is Golden on our list, I just wanted to make sure everybody was...
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
No,
Good
they
on that.
just
You
did
got it.
Golden.
You got it.
Yep. Okay. Anyway, so...
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know, because they have done some more action-y...
I mean, they have. They've done Brotherhood, and they've done Fairy Tale, and they've done a couple of action
Yeah.
things.
It's very fantasy oriented, I think.
Yeah, they have done... that's a good note. They have done a lot of fantasy stuff, so I'm trying to think, like what if there was, like, a Lord of the Rings anime? That...
I'd be down for a Lord of the Rings
Oh,
anime.
man.
but with more girls.
Yeah, they're neat.
That's my one note for Tolkien. If you're listening to this, JRR.
Tweet at Tolkien. No. Hashtag IGN Anime. No, okay.
Oh dear.
But,
Anyways, so yeah, but that would be interesting. A Lord of the Rings anime.
yeah, no, I mean, are any of these sci-fi? Not really. Well, I mean, Sword Art, kind of, not really.
Yeah,
No, a lot of these are fantasy.
A lot of them are fantasy. What about
RPG-ish?
So if it were done right, I would die if there was a Harry Potter anime.
Ooh,
And
that's a good one.
Because I saw somebody made anime style fan art of Harry Potter, and I'm gonna cry. So if someone made a Harry Potter anime, and Ginny was tsundere, and I would. Oh my god! And can you imagine how cute Crookshanks would look as an anime cat?
Oh my gosh.
So make it happen. Is all
Make
I'm
it happen,
saying.
Harry.
I think Callie's writing down a note right now, and at first I thought she was like, I need to write in.
No.
Write a list.
Just write this
For
down.
that handy list of shows we put on every episode. Because Harry Potter's a show.
It needs to be an anime.
All right. Yeah. Anyway, any last wish list?
No, I think we covered it all.
Yeah,
I think we covered off on it. So let us know what you would want to see. If we forgot something that's obvious, I apologize. So just to round this off, A1 has some notable original anime. Anohana, The Flower We Saw That Day, Slay Me, Aldnoah.Zero, Anthem of the Heart, which Megan, Marina, and I saw in theaters.
We did.
I feel like that was like
Oh.
episodes and episodes ago, but we do talk about it on one of our episodes.
We do.
And Megan was like sobbing.
I was sobbing at the end. It just hit me right in the feels, and I didn't expect that. So like the end, I'm just like bawling,
Yeah,
and like Callie and Miranda are like doing this because they're like, "Are you okay?"
Well, I think in order of crying, it was definitely Megan was like the cryingest. I was like middle, and then Miranda was just kind of like sitting there absorbing it. But it's a movie. It's not a show.
What's it about?
It's about a girl who wishes. Well, not wishes, but she gets her voice taken away from her, and in order to communicate, she has to sing, and it's hard to explain, but that's like the basic premise
So
of
it's like The Little Mermaid?
No,
I mean, she's sort of like that because, well, there's this guy, and he kind of like helps her.
Basically, her parents
That's
get
interesting,
divorced
though.
in the beginning,
Oh, geez.
and this magical egg sort of appears and is like, this is all your fault.
Because she
you
caught
have to-
her dad going into a love hotel.
Yeah.
And she didn't know it was a love hotel because she was a child. She thought it was a love
a
hotel that looked like a castle. So she's like, I saw daddy going into the castle. And the mom was like, what?
Yeah. But her mom, instead of being like, her mom was like, don't say anything more, Chatterbox. Like, her mom is like so embarrassed by this and wants to like.
Her mom handled it really poorly, but I think it's also a cultural thing, like, because it is very shameful to be cheated on.
Yeah.
Like, you don't really talk about that.
Yeah, I think we discussed that a little bit in the
I think we did.
last episode too. And
Yeah.
so, but anyways, the little girl blames herself and stops talking and she's so traumatized. And it's all about how she gets her voice back and how she learns to express what's in her heart. That's Anthem of the Heart.
That's deep.
Yep.
That's cute. I'll have to check that out.
And then Qualidea Code, it's notable because it's airing now. That is an A1 original that I have not checked out.
I don't think we considered this for our preview.
Ew. Well, if you're watching it, please let us know if it's worth checking out because, you know,
I don't know
to
if
be
it was playing though.
Yeah, I don't know. To be
I
quite
think it
honest, we only have so much time in the day. That's not even honest. That's just a fact of being a person.
Well, I mean, we had 18.
There were like 30 to 40 shows in this summer that we had to try to watch, and you can't watch them all.
But in all seriousness, like, we do get recommendations. I think Sweetness and Lightning was one that people were recommending to me on Twitter, and also Megan did as well. But your recommendations matter to us as much as sometimes the ones that we want to recommend to you. Like Shirobako, for example, meant a lot to us. That people liked it.
Yeah.
Your recommendations mean a lot to us as well. So if you're watching Qualidea Code, let me know what it's about, because right now I have a picture of a computer in my head, and let me know if it's worth watching. I think that about covers off on A1. Just a quick, like, make you aware of like how much they do. They are really prolific studio that, you know, it might not be perfect anime. Like, people, you know, have their criticisms of Sword Art, and, you know, I mentioned Erased, like the ending disappointed me, etc. But they do a lot, and that is super impressive and worth noting. So
It seems like they do more good than bad, which is always a positive sign.
yeah. I mean, around IGN we call it like you do a 10 for them, 1 for me thing, or sometimes you do like a thing that you're not super invested in. Like if someone puts out a game that they know will be commercially successful but isn't very good, then maybe they have their passion project or something like that, which is kind of what we mentioned about, you know, Erased versus pursuing Fairy Tail as an anime. It's commercial success versus maybe a passion project. So, you know, sometimes things aren't as good because you're really saving up for that real good one, that masterpiece.
Anyways.
Yeah. So anyone, show them some love.
Yeah. Moving on to our watch party. So again, Psycho-Pass is very graphic. We're only on episodes 3 and 4. You guys voted on it. Watch Party is basically an anime book club where we all watch a show together, 2 episodes at a time every week. But, you know, exercise caution. There's a lot of gore.
Yes.
There in the first, I can't remember if it was the first episode or the second episode, there is a rape scene. So, you know, just please be careful with this. We did watch episodes 3 and 4 this week. So episode 3, I watched them last night and they blurred together, so I need to figure out. The episode 3 is the one that starts off with the abs, right?
Yes. He's fighting. Yeah, he's training.
He's training. So Kogami is training, and he's looking at a detective-style mystery board. You know when you're watching a detective show and there's
always a mystery
pictures
board
connected by yarn, and he has one of those. But mostly I was like, abs. So, you know, they have a murder mystery sort of case where there is a quote-unquote accidental death, but it's the 3rd in a year at a drone factory. And they're kind of like, that's too many. And being from America, I was like, 3 deaths in a year? That's not that many. But apparently it is many. So...
Well, in a perfect society, that shouldn't happen.
Yeah, that shouldn't happen at all.
I mean, I guess I didn't consider it. So they head over there, and Tyler DeBoer summarizes it. We got ourselves a murder mystery case of the week. 3 accidental deaths have happened at a drone factory, and our team is there to investigate. Oh, oops, sorry, I totally stole your first line. The factory is completely cut off from outside interference. No internet. I don't think us members would survive in this environment.
Yeah.
I'd read a book and then I'd be like, who do I talk to about the book?
Who do I hashtag about this book?
And they live there too, I think.
They live there. It's an around-the-clock drone factory. So
Yeah.
this is me talking, not Tyler. Yeah, it's because I think there's like 50 employees or something, and because it's such a time-consuming process, they're just always there.
Yeah.
And it has this like weird prison feel, and I was very uncomfortable. So they have no internet access.
Yeah, that's the worst.
And they're not on the net, as the translation has it. And then Tyler says, but man, is this factory messed up. They try to sweep desks away to keep operating and permit bullying and teasing to let workers get steam off. So pausing there for a second, there is a guy, like kind of the foreman of the factory, who is excusing. There's one kind of whipping boy who works there, and he's the one that everybody knocks over, and his hue is the most. He's the yellow green. They call him yellow green, and that's weird because everyone has access to everyone else's hue at this factory, also.
Which I think they kind of mentioned that shouldn't be a thing.
Yeah, they mentioned that's at this point that's unusual.
Yes.
That's not something that most people have access to. And they use him just to blow off steam because they don't have any other way to occupy their time. Because I feel so bad saying that because what did people do before the internet? They did other things.
Yeah.
They didn't always bully everybody, but this is just kind of, they pick him.
Yeah.
And that is not, Akane is not down with that, and Kogami is also not down with that. And then she blushes a little bit, and I was like, I know I said I love every redheaded anime boy, but I kind of love Kogami right now. And then picking up with Tyler, the team develops a suspect and goes off to confront and confirm it. Kogami goes bad cop and forces the suspect to confirm he's indeed the culprit. Sending drones and himself after Akane and Kogami, we get a nice little Dominator v robot fight ending with the murderer captured. We see another time Akane uses unconventional methods of dealing with problems as opposed to the system. Already we're getting to what is no doubt going to be a bigger issue later on. So
I thought it was really cool that they drew a line down into the factory just to get like connection to the Sybil system.
Yeah. So Akane's whole thing is, she kind of has more free will than everybody else in the society.
She's an inspector.
Yeah, she's an well, not freedom, but like free will. Like her way of thinking is different. Like as we saw in the first episode, she would rather talk somebody down than use the Dominator on them. So the victim whose hue was temporarily clouded, she would rather treat that person than just eliminate them, right? So that was an unconventional thing because she has this moral compass that's a little more defined.
Yeah.
And she does have more freedom than the enforcers also.
I think Ganoza, the more veteran inspector, just, you get this vibe that he's been through things, and that's why he is how he is.
Yeah, he's seen some stuff.
So that's what's interesting with Akane and him, just conflicted all the time.
Their dynamic is really interesting.
Yeah.
I honestly, we're only like 4 episodes in, and I'm really inspired by Akane because they do kind of paint her. Ginoza actually calls her a fool for trying to learn from her experience rather than history, which I thought was really interesting. That wise people learn from history and fools learn from experience, like their personal experience, and that made me think like, oh, which one am I, and is that necessarily true? And Akane just being more like pure and wanting justice and having. Not letting the gun decide, not letting the Dominator decide all the time, has already been really thought-provoking for me. So I've been enjoying that. I've been enjoying that a lot. I tried my best.
Also, like the Dominator is what I don't like about the Dominator is that it has to give you permission to use it. So like in that case, you have 2 robots trying to kill you. And then you get the connection, and then it says it's like, oh, Sybil system online, like changing mode to destruction mode. I'm like, oh god, please now.
Are you kidding, gun?
I know. They transform for like a minute.
Psychopaths, I think part of the effect on me so far is my already very deep knowledge of robots taking over the world fiction. And that, it's inspired by a lot of those things we discussed on the last watch party, like Blade Runner, and I mentioned 1984. And it just has that vibe of like AI taking over the world. And I'm like, I'm on edge all the time. And I feel like if I hadn't been exposed to fiction like that before, I'd be less nervous about it because as like a tabula rasa, just a child, I'd be like, what's wrong with robots doing things? And now I'm like, robots will kill us all. So I have this like added tension when I'm watching this because I'm like, the robots are gonna make the wrong choice. Like, and I say it in that voice and everything. But that's part of the dynamic between Akane and the Sybil system established. Not government, but the system they have established. That's the tension between them. Yep. Is she's a human. She has human deductive reasoning, and a machine has stun or destroy. Yeah. And I just think that's so well done in the show so far.
Let's see.
Let's move on to Netto del Toro. Shout out to our just always up in the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/group/IGN Anime Club, the official group. You should definitely join it because we get some really cool discussions in there. Oh, yeah. And if you can't catch up with the podcast for whatever reason, you can still talk to everybody about whatever anime you're watching. Mm-hmm. And Netto is always up in there giving us the comments. So Netto says, the factory microcosm serves to prove how blatantly dismissive this society is with basic criminal psychology. But could you blame them? Having those kinds of thoughts in your head would instantly cloud your hue and label you a criminal. Once again, the Sybil system is all they can rely on, and thus the net keeps getting wider. Say what you will about Akane, but she was the one that decided to trust those detective instincts Ginoza was so dismissive about. Mm-hmm. On a side note, when those drones were going berserk, all I could think of was exterminate.
Seriously. He brings up a good point. Like, if like everyone knows if your hue clouds just a little bit, you could be a latent criminal.
Right.
Like that must be like just so stressful trying not to like be on edge, right?
Right.
And
go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, like in the first episode with the guy, like he wasn't, he just had a bad day, and then he got thrusted into this situation where, he just did things that he would never done, and then he started thinking about it, and then he went deep. Yeah, he just got dark.
So one of the things I've been thinking about with regard to hue and the kind of automatic switch they have in the Sybil system of someone being a latent criminal is intrusive thoughts, which is that often paired with anxiety disorders, like OCD is an anxiety disorder, for example, and part of OCD can be intrusive thoughts, and they're not always like kill everyone. Like that's one of the misconceptions about intrusive thoughts. It's like it's always like violent thoughts. That's not it. I mean, intrusive thoughts can also be like eat the leaves off the ground, and it's like you're like, okay, brain, thanks. But that's the thing I was thinking about is I've known people who, before having treatment for certain anxiety disorders or other disorders like that, you have really dark thoughts and you worry, does that make me a bad person? Or if you have really, like, what if you're depressed in this society and your hue is very clouded, and the thing that's been bothering me a little bit is people who have dark thoughts don't always go to dark places and commit crimes. Yeah. Actually, the majority of people who have mental illnesses don't commit crimes. Most of them are victims of crimes, violent crimes. So,
that's why the Sybil system's so questionable, right? And that's why Akane is the lone, thinker in that.
That's what we see in that first scene with the rape victim. Is that was such a big moment where she's like, don't use the dominator on her. She's in a temporary state of distress from her trauma. I mean, it's a traumatic thing. So, I've been thinking about that a lot because how would somebody in that society deal with a mental illness or trauma and live through it? And that's just something that I think about a lot with regard to everything. So, sorry for the serious tangent.
Well, I mean, it's a serious show. Yeah. And I'm glad you brought that up. But yeah, I mean, hopefully down the line, they'll explain that more. So we'll see.
We will see. Yeah. Moving on to episode 4. Spooky Boogie. Okay.
I like this arc.
So this was like the beginning of episode 4 was like, I think it's episode 3 of Twin Peaks with the dream sequence. That's what it reminded me of. I was like, what the hell? Because she's in like
the virtual
reality and talking to the talisman in her like avatar, which has these like messed up arms. And I'm like, I was so freaked out at first. I was like, this is insane. So yeah, what'd you guys think about that total tonal shift?
Right? Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It seems to be like kind of like Tyler mentioned, like, a murder case of the week or something. So, here is another case that we're coming upon. And it's interesting that now Akane is connected to this a little bit personally, because she was, she talked to Talisman, and Talisman now is part of this murder investigation.
Well, and then Spooky Boogie, the other avatar, the other famous avatar, says that they went to school together. They were in the same class. So Akane is very mixed up in the middle of this. And basically, the talisman has been usurped by somebody. Somebody kind of stole his avatar and is using it. And at the end of episode 4, we see that Spooky Boogie has been murdered in the same fashion. Dun, dun, dun. Bum, bum, bum. Just want to say Spooky Boogie is my fave. I love she just is above her mansion hanged, but she's talking to the people, and I'm like, this is some Nightmare Before Christmas stuff. So I really like her. Tyler DeBoer again says, we're on to the Spooky Boogie arc. Akane is seeking to help understand Kogami more after everything that's come before. Oh, quick note. Did you interpret that as a romantic thing where she was like, what's up with Kogami? Or just a general interest thing? Because at first I was like, oh man, she has a crush on Kogami. But I think I might have read that wrong.
She might get there, but I think at this point she's just, at the end of episode 3, she describes him as being sort of a dangerous wolf type. Mm-hmm. So I think she's fascinated by him. I don't know if it's become love, but she's definitely fascinated because she's already realizing that this guy isn't him at all. He's really like a wolf type. Yeah. So there's something dangerous about him, and she recognizes that his rash actions in episode 3, which, let's be honest, they were rash. Are dangerous. I mean, Ginoza is there to sort of balance out the group, and we got here with the Sybil system for a reason. Mm-hmm. Things really got out of control. And so even though it's flawed, it's people like that, it's that can do a lot of damage. Yeah. It's something to think about. So I think she's fascinated. Makes a little bit of a bad boy. I don't know.
Yeah, see, I think I might just have a crush on him. That's why I interpret it.
He's a pretty cool guy. And mysterious.
I have a problem. Please help me.
So that's the redhead and Kogami now?
Yeah. And of course, I just want to point out I have my actual true husbanda, Kamina-sama.
Side note, off the side note. Do we need to do a top 10 just best anime abs?
Yes, we do.
All right, moving on. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Let us know what you would like to see. So anyway, continue picking up with Tyler. After getting different advice and talks, we're pulled off to an investigation. There's a missing persons case that's probably a murder. The murdered man was a VR online personality that Akane spoke to that morning, heightening the mystery surrounding the case. So this is just summarizing. So actually, I really appreciate this, Tyler. I just want to give a nice shout out to Tyler for summarizing the episodes for us, because that is always really helpful. Even though we sort of got ahead of ourselves on that point. So basically, like we said, they kind of go into the virtual reality, meet Spooky Boogie and all this stuff and investigate. Yep. And then Tyler says, finally, we get our first non-flash forward look at one of the best characters in Psycho-Pass, the anti-villain Shogo Makishima. He's even reading 1984, one of the inspirations I laid out last week. Thank you, Tyler, for validating.
That was a great reference.
I'm so glad I said 1984 because I feel so validated. Trust me, he'll be a treat. So I noticed that as well because I saw Orwell and I was like, oh dang, what's up everybody? I think, am I the only person who hasn't seen Psycho-Pass yet?
I've seen the first half.
You've seen the first half?
So after episode 7,
I've watched all of it.
Yeah, and Miranda's watched all of it. Okay. So I'm the only one who's I have this fresh, what's gonna happen? So I'm just really proud that having not watched the show, I was 1984 is a thing here. And then it was even a reference. So I'm just you did well. I'm finishing my second cup of coffee today, and I'm just in a good place. So
that's what's wrong, man. I need a second cup of coffee. I've been really tired, so I'm so sorry that I've been kind of quiet, but I'm just oh, that's what it is. You need a second cup of coffee before you come in here.
It's an addiction. Please help.
Please help.
Australia's card. I'm so sorry. Says, if we can assume that avatars reflect one's personality, then Akane's avatar would indicate that she feels small and somewhat insignificant compared to her peers and the world. Mm-hmm. That is a super good observation. Yeah. This is supported by her conversation with Kagari in episode 2. I don't know what conversation.
The redhead.
Yeah. On the flip side, Inspector Ginoza's avatar reflects his affinity for order in his faith in the Sybil system because he's a coin. He's it looked like a quarter,
no,
like a U.S. quarter.
That was the old guy.
No, Ginoza. Oh, that was the old guy. What's Ginoza's avatar?
I don't remember now.
No.
But anyway.
No, Ginoza is the coin.
Yeah, no, Ginoza's the coin.
Really?
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah, there were. I was like, there was only 2 avatars, Mike. Yeah, Ginoza's the coin. So,
Okay.
so again, Inspector Ginoza's avatar reflects his affinity for order and his faith in the civil system, which might perhaps be metaphorized by "In God We Trust" on the coin. So it was sort of like a U.S. It looked like a U.S. coin to me.
Yeah.
Also, he might be a fan of antique coinage, like my grandpa.
That's a really good observation, though.
That is so good.
That's really
Thank you
good.
for that. I'm sorry I butchered your name. And then finally, additionally, I find it ironic that Spooky Boogie tends to be hanging from a noose, as her decision to help Akane doomed her to strangulation.
Whoa.
Also, the main villain's motives for his actions are evidently based on George Orwell's 1984, which is set in a world similar to that in Psychopaths.
You guys are MVPs right now.
Yeah,
The
seriously.
real MVPs.
I'm so proud of you all.
Thank you. So I want to break that down a little bit because I didn't even think about that. I was so distracted I was blinded by the abs.
Hashtag anime abs.
Please, I'm sorry. But yeah, I think that's fantastic. Is your avatar in this world that we are in often does reflect. I mean, the avatars that I make in any game, if I can design a character or something, I always have pink hair, first of all. But they do, to an extent, reflect either how you want to be perceived or how you feel, right?
Yeah.
Like, what is a character you've made that you were most proud of?
Oh, jeez. I want to.
Mine's my Nord in Skyrim, because in real life I am a Nord. I am of those people, so I was really proud of my Nord.
That's true. You have ancestry.
I'm like the most Viking.
That's a good question. I play so many MMOs, so I'm like, wow.
I'm pretty
Trying to
proud
think.
of there was very limited selection because BioWare isn't always the best at avatars, but I'm still proud of my character Yuna from the original Dragon Age Origins. I was very upset that I could not import her into future
Inquisition.
Dragon Age. I was like irrationally
What
upset
about
about
her?
it.
What about her did you like? Like, did she reflect something that you aspired to, or was she more like a reflection of how you are?
A little bit of column A and column B. So I wanted her to. First of all, it's hard to get a face down in a lot of these. When you it'll take me 1 to 2 hours to make an avatar just to make it somewhat look like something that I want.
Yeah.
But there was just like this, like she was a warrior, but she had this very like I'm a really girly girl, so I always make my female characters very girly, like me.
Yeah.
Because I'm picky. There's an expression I learned in Japanese, and I'm blinking what it is, but it's picky about the face, and I'm really picky about the face. And so I will spend hours on a character's face. Their body type is, whatever, but I have to look at their face.
Yep.
So I was really proud of how my Grey Warden Yuna came out in Dragon Age Origins. Shout out to my girl.
I spent so much time on the hair, facial hair, and like the face. Like I spent hours on DC Universe Online and Star Wars: The Old Republic, just making the face.
Yeah.
But also like the way the character is portrayed within the game, like based on the decisions you make. Like I'm like a sassy guy that doesn't take crap from anyone.
Yeah.
So I'll play that.
Yeah,
like,
you are.
Definitely that aspect of creating characters.
Yeah, I think with my first of all, I used a Nordic name. Her name's Ingrid.
Nice. Nicely done.
Because I used to lift actually. I used to be really, really fit. And I was like super strong in the arms. So I spun rifle, I did karate, and I lifted.
Dang.
So
I'm taking a martial arts class right now.
yeah, I want to start Muay Thai. I want to get back into it. But so I wanted someone who was strong, and I always go like I never go for mages in games. I always go for warriors because it's like or like rogues. I like rogues as well. Like I really like bow and arrow. In a shooter, I like sniping. So, but in Skyrim, I had this like hybrid. First off, I had her on two-handed, and then I kind of like adapted a little bit. But I liked her because she was super strong, and she would wreck you. And she was a Nord, and she could like survive in the cold. And I was like, it's me as I wish I could be. But also, I wanted like cute hair and like cute face because I was like, if I'm gonna be like strong and fit, I also want to be like adorable about it. Like, have you seen that girl? She sort of looks like Zarya. She's this like pro lifter, and like after she's done, she like does this little heart.
Oh my god! Okay, I have to look that up.
Wait, from the Olympics?
Yeah, she did the little heart.
Oh, I saw this one where it was another weightlifter, and he was like dancing every time he like finished a.
So anyway, my ideal is like cute, but can take care of yourself. So
there you go.
Good. Shout out to the Nords in Skyrim.
Shout out to
because
the
I also did a
Nords.
Nord. Her name was Sephora.
Sephora.
Sephora, not Sephora like the
the
makeup,
store?
although
Okay.
that would have been better.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But anyway, so the reason I'm asking about avatars is because that is a really good observation that I
Yes.
didn't think about, but it does make sense in real life. Like sometimes you design your avatars like that. So it makes sense looking at Psychopaths. Akane's avatar is really childlike and small and a lot smaller than the other avatars. And I think that's a really good insight into her personality and a fantastic observation.
So
Yes.
thank you for that observation.
Yes,
Really
thank you for
good.
all your comments and sharing your stories with us. It's great.
Yeah. Again, you can email us for watch party comments, IGN_Anime Club at IGN.com, or on the Facebook group at Facebook.com/groups/IGN Anime Club. It's the official group. And you can tweet using the hashtag IGN, IGNanime. That
Dang.
wraps up this week's watch party.
Yay!
Before we leave you, do you guys have anything you wanted to spotlight? Anything you're working on?
I don't know, but I'm playing WoW, so that's cool.
That's cool. Cool.
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna. Just I'm watching all this anime. So reach out to me. Let's talk. Shop.
Let's talk shop.
Yeah, anime.
Yeah.
Anime.
Megan, what about you? Working on anything?
Yes, I am reviewing Dragon Quest 7 on the 3DS, so look for that in the next couple weeks. It's 100 hours.
Oh, man.
So I have to hop on it.
100 hours.
I saw, there's a website, I forget what it is, but you probably Google it. It's the one where you can see how long a game takes based on your playstyle. So average to complete the story would be like 100 hours for Dragon Quest. And then there was one for completionist I saw this, that is for just doing like the story.
The story, oh my
If you're a completionist, it takes you 300 hours. So bless Megan for being a really good JRPG reviewer, because that is the most time-consuming thing I can imagine.
God.
It is, but there's a lot of content, and if you look at early reviews for the original Dragon Quest 7 that came out on the PlayStation, they're very positive.
Yeah.
So
nice.
This is actually one of the Dragon Quests I actually missed, so I'm looking forward to finally getting my hands on it, because I'm a huge proponent of Dragon Quest 8. That's my jam. So, but I heard good things from Dragon Quest 7 from people that I trust. So look out
Nice.
for that, and also episode 10 of Berserk. That will go up this Friday.
review of that.
My review of that. So please support that. I really
Yay.
appreciate it. Remember, please no spoilers in the comments if you've read the manga. It's really
Yes.
important that those of us who have not totally caught up with the manga are surprised. So there you go.
And that is also one of our comment rules in general here at IGN.com.
Yes.
Is, avoid spoilers, please. What am I doing? What am I doing?
You're doing quite a bit, as a matter of fact.
I am doing quite a bit. I will be attending Call of Duty XP in Los Angeles this week / weekend to cover Infinite Warfare, Zombies, and Modern Warfare Remastered. I know this is not anime at all, but
That's fine.
Zombies is 80s themed, if you're into that. So I'm doing that.
Down.
I feel like I have other things going on.
You have Pokemon things.
Oh, Secret Base.
And Secret Base. So, thank you, Mike. So if you haven't, please check out the Pokemon World Championships coverage. I think somebody posted in the Facebook group today about the Eevee plush that is coming to Build-A-Bear. In that news story, there is a video that an unboxing I did with Alana of the exclusive merch from Worlds, including like the exclusive San Francisco Pikachu plush and stuff. So check that out, because it helps me a lot to do more Pokemon stuff. And if you like this show, you might like Secret Base, IGN's new Pokemon show that Miranda's usually on, but she wasn't on this week because she was in LA. LA is a hot spot for us. So check that out. And if you like it, let me know. Let me know what you want to see, because it's a little bit of a different format.
So your Call of Duty events this Saturday or this weekend?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So we have two SAC Anime.
SAC Anime, which I will be at on Saturday. Thank you for reminding me. I forgot about it.
And also PAX.
PAX West.
This weekend.
PAX West is
We
this
are not
weekend.
attending PAX, but you can see other IGN people, including Marty, Alana, I think. Andrew's, I don't know.
There's a few going, yeah.
There's
You'll
a few
see.
people. So if you're going to PAX.
If you care about that, if you follow any of those people on Twitter, you can find out.
Hey, speaking of Twitter, what's everyone's Twitter handle?
Oh, yeah. You can follow me at XPMNems.
You can follow me at Inky Dojiko, INKYDOJIKKO.
Ya tú sabes, you can follow me at Megan, MEGHAN_IGN.
I like that casual Spanish.
It's all about Chuy Gomez in the morning. If you're in the Bay Area, you know what I'm talking about.
Ya tú sabes. All right, I think that concludes IGN Anime Club, episode 62. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week. Bye. Yay, anime.
Bye-bye. Yay, anime!